OSPF. So when you configure OSPF, in OSPF, what OSPF do? It divide the single routing domain, that is autonomous system, into different areas. So we can divide it. Why we divide this into multiple areas? So that we can easily manage the large network. Now what we want to manage? We want to manage the route, we want to manage the network, we want to manage the overload of network. And for that we do this thing, it is called route summarization. Now route summarization, we do this to manage the network or manage the large networks and to large networks in an area. Now when you create a design of multi-area, so we create this design only because we are doing route summarization. If we don't do route summarization, then there is no benefits of creating the areas. So why we create areas? We create areas for doing the route summarization. For example, first we create areas. Why we create areas is very simple. Suppose our company is very big and we are having offices in different countries. Let's say this is our main office which is in some country. Now we have another office in another country. So we have offices in different countries. Now on those offices, on those networks in different countries, different continent, we are connected with slow WAN link. Now we have two options. Either we connect full mesh topology, it will be expensive for us because WAN links are expensive. Mesh topology, that means I will connect every area, every network with the same with multiple networks. For example, I will connect like mesh, like this area will connect to this, I will connect this area to this, I will connect this to this, this to this, then also it will connect to this. That means every area, every network is connected directly to each other. This is what we call full mesh topology. Now creating this full mesh topology, that means you need lots of multiple different WAN links. That means you have this one WAN link, then you have two WAN link, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means for connecting these 5 different areas, different locations, you need 8 WAN links. Now WAN links are very expensive and slow, so I don't want to waste all this money to connect these WAN links. What I will do, I can do what? I can use this topology. We can use to connect like this. It is also called spoke and hub topology, where all the branch offices are directly connected to center office, and we need only 4 links to connect all these. That means these branch offices regularly don't need to connect to each other, but they need to connect to this main office every time. Now if they want to go to this branch office, like from this they want to go to this office, from this branch to go to this branch, they don't have direct WAN link, so they can go what? They can go from here. They will go to this area, this main office, and then from there you can reach to this branch. So using this link we can save some money. Using this topology, this kind of topology, we can save some money. So if we have this kind of network, now remember these all areas, all locations are owned and proprietary by our own company. That means they are under same autonomous system. That means they are under the same autonomous, they are in the same autonomous system, they are in same routing domain. Now we don't have to mention that routing autonomous number here in OSPF configurations, but they will remain still in the same autonomous system. Now if I want to save more money, now here what happened, if I have a connection like this, now suppose we are having lots of networks here in main office, in this branch office I have 1000 network, here I have 2000 network, here I have 3000 network, here I have 500 networks, here I have 1500 networks. Now what that means, in each and every router of your network, of your all over network, wherever you go, like we have some router here in this area, in this location, and in this router's routing table, if we give command show IP route, it will show all the routes so that it can reach that network. Otherwise it will not reach. Remember, if router don't know about the network, they can't reach. So if they wants to reach any network here, they must know how to go. So for that, it has in the routing table, the entry must be in the routing table. So if I open the routing table from here in this router, so what it will show, it will show 3, 4, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 and 8,000 entries here in this single router. That means the routing table of this single router will have 8,000 entries. It can be a big, I'm giving an example of very big network, so it can be a very big routing table. Now when these routers exchange routing tables to each other, like you are having another router here in the same networks, now if this router sends the routing table to this router, so how much it will send? It will send 8,000 entries after every 60 to 90 seconds. After every 60 to 90 seconds, it is sending what? Update time, and it is sending what? Updates. It is sending about all the 8,000 entries. Now if you are connected, now you are having this router here which is sitting on the border of your area, and you have one router which is sitting here in the border of this area. Now when they exchanging the routing table to each other, now what they will share, what they will send, this router will send to this router 8,000 entries, and this router will also send the information about 8,000 entries. Now it will be a very big routing table, and it can put lots of load on your slow WAN link. Now to manage it easily, what they do, they can divide these single network into different areas. If they are in single network, they will do like this. So we can do what? We can divide them into different areas. For example, this will be area 0. Now that means what? All the routers what I configure here, they will get area 0 when I configure. Here I will configure area 1 for all the networks available in this area. It will configured as area 2 here, and I can configure area 3 here, 4 here. I can have lots of areas, we have lots of options there. Now after dividing these networks into different areas, we have to do route summarization. Otherwise it is not benefit of dividing this into areas. If we just divide, if we just configure it into different areas, they will still work as normal, like they can still communicate and they will still send the big routing table to each other. That means still from here it will send 8,000 entry to this area, and from here it will send 8,000 entries to this area. So it will what? It will still be not beneficial if we do not do the route summarization. So dividing the area is to divide the area is to only for simplifying the management of your network, and also because what we want to do the route summarization. If we don't want to do the route summarization, when dividing it into the area is not useful. So we want to do the route summarization. Now what is route summarization? Route summarization is very simple. Route summarization is very simple. It is to summarize your network into single network. That means if I have 500 different networks here in this area, so when I send the update to this area, another area about my 500 network, so I will not send all these 500 networks separately. I will send what I will do, summarize this 500 network, and I will send only one entry with the routing table, one entry of this all 500 network. Now when I send this only one entry, the router here will understand, it will understand that okay, all these 500 networks are here in this area. Now same as here, if I have 1500 networks, so the router which is sitting on the boundary, it will send the update to this other area about its own network. So what it will do, it will summarize all the networks into single. Then here also, when this area sends the information to this other area about its 1000 networks, then it will do what? It will summarize them into single entry. Also from here, it will be summarized as a single entry here for these 4000, 2000 networks. So your routing table will not become 8000, it will become very less. Now this area has its own 3000 entries. So what it will do, when this area sends information to these different areas about this network, so what it will send here, so it will send also do summarize this network. It will summarize this 3000 into 1. And then also it will give the information about these other areas. Like if it is sending the area information to 4, so it will also inform that there is area 1, 2, 3 is also there, and what are the networks are there. So it will send what? One entry is from area 1, one entry is from area 2, one entry is from area 3, and one entry with one entry of its own. So it will send 1 plus that 3 other summarized network entries. That means it will send only 4 entries to this area. Same as it will send when this area, it will only send what? 1 plus that 3 other summarized network information. And here is also send what? 1 of its own networks, 3000, and other 3 summarized network. And here also it will send one network, one summarized network of its own network, and other 3 summarized networks. So totally what we get here in this area, we will get its 500 networks plus the entries which it has get from this area 0, which is 4. So whenever we open any router here in this area, we will see only 504 entries. Same as here, 1504, 1004, 2004, and here you will see 3004. And the benefit of using this topology, what you will get, these all areas don't have to know about all the other areas. These branch offices, these areas only knows about the area 0. It is also called backbone area. It is also called backbone area because this area is the area which is connecting all the other areas, and this backbone area knows about all the other areas. Even these other areas don't know about anything about the other areas. This area 4 don't know anything about area 3. It only knows that these networks are there and we can reach from this area 0. So whenever they want to send any data to this area, what they do, they will forward the data to this area 0, and then area 0 will forward the data to area 4. And by using like this, we can save direct link here. We don't have to get the direct link, direct WAN link. We can use the existing WAN link which is connected to area 0. We can save some money. So this is because we do convert these, do configure these different areas. Now We convert these areas to do the route summarization. And one more thing, what is the router which is sitting in between these two areas, like the router which is connecting area 3 and area 4, that router is called ASBR. That is called ASBR router. That means autonomous system area border router. AS, not ASBR, it is actually AVR, area border router, which is sitting on in between the two different areas. Now this is what we do, this area configuration only for doing the route summarization. Now route summarization, how it works and how we do the route summarization, how we can make this 500 different network into single network. I will give you the example for it. So how to do the route summarization, how we can convert, how we can do what, summarize multiple different networks into single network. Let's see that. I will give you an example of it. Let's say I have in one area, I have a network of 192.168.1.0. This is my one network. I have another network which is 192.168.2.0, or let's say I will start from 0, 1. Another network I have 192.168.2.0. Then I have 192.168.3.0. Then I have 192.168.4.0. Then I have 192.168.5.0. Remember, this is class C, and that means this is the network part. And that means what? This is different network and this is different network. Then I have 192.168.6.0, and I also have 192.168.7.0. So I have these different networks, and again I'm saying this is the network part. So these are different networks I have. Now I want to summarize this different network into single network. So how we'll do that? So for doing this, we just have to see that how many bits are same in all these networks. That means in all these networks, all these 8 different networks, how many bits are equal, or we can say are same among these all different networks. Let's convert them into bits. So first, if you see this 192, this is equal. In every network, this is equal. That means if I convert them into bits, it will be like 1, 1, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means these first 2 bits are enabled. That is 128 and 64 plus 192. And these remaining bits are 0. So for 192, these all bits are equal for all the networks. So whether I type it like this, okay, so it is equal. Then what? This 168 is also equal in every network now. That means it is also equal. That means what? 128, 0, that means no 64, 32, 0, 8. Total what? 168. That means 128 and 32 is equal to 160 and then 8. Remaining bits are 0, that is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these bits are equal. That means same. So in every network there is 192, 168. That means in every network these first 16 bits are same. So these first 16 bits are same in every network. It is same here also, here also, here also, here also, here also, and also here. Now, where is the difference? Difference is here. You can see this one is difference. So let's convert all the networks into binary first, then we'll see the difference. So then in the first network, this part is 0 and this one is also 0. So it will go like this: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 dot 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So this is what the binary of this 192.168.0.0. Now for this, it will be like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. This first bit is enabled here, and that is why we are getting here 1. But after that we have 0. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Then here what we have? We have 2. Now 2 means 1 2 3 4 5 6. This bit is enable and this bit is off, and this bit value is 2. Then what? The other part is 0. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Then here in this, what we have? 3. 3 means 1 2 3 4 5 6. This number 2 is enable and number 1 is enable. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. Then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Remaining bits are 0. Then here we have 4. That means 1 2 3 4, and we have this bit is enable and rest of these 2 bits are off. That means this is what? 1, this is 2, and this is 4. Then the rest of the bits are 0. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now here what we have? 5. Now 5 means what? 1 2 3 4 5. Number 4, this one is enable, that is 4. This is disable and this is enable. That means we have enable bits. This bit is value 1 and this bit value is 4, and total we have 5. Then what? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Then what we have here? We have 6. Now 6 means what? This is 4 and this is 2 is equal to 6. So we have to enable those 2 bits. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and rest of the bits are 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now in this one, what we have? 7. Now 7 means what? 4 plus 2 6 plus 1 7. So that 3 bits are enabled. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and rest of the bits are 0. So now this is what? This is the binary version of this networks. Now to do the summarization for this network, what I have to do? So I have to do what? I have to see that I have to check that how many bits are equal or same in all these networks from left to right side. Left to right side, that means from here to this side. So how many bits are equal? Now when you see, this first 8 bits are equal in every network. Then this next 8 bits are also equal in all these networks. Then we see here in this bit, in this 8 bits, we see that we have this here, but in this network we have this, in this network we have this, in this network we have this, in this we have this, in this we have this, in this we have this. So we can say in all these networks we have these 5 bits are equal. This one is not changing. This one has changed here, here, and here, and also here. It has not changed here, 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 but it has changed here. Till here it has changed. So we have till here we have same bits, or we can say like first 8 bits are same, second bits are same, and we have same till here. So if we check all these bits are equal, or we can say same, and changes are happening after these bits. Same, we can see this is also same, no changes. We can see this is also same, and also we can see this is also same. So we can check all these bits are same in all these different networks. Now the bits are changing from here, so that we will not count. Now to summarize this, what I will do here, I will take the minimum network, like all among all these networks, 192.168.0.0, 1.0, 2.0, 3.4.5.6.7.0. What is the lesser one? So this one is the minimum one, where this one has 0 and other ones have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one is the less one, minimum one. So I will take this 192.168.0.0, and for the subnet mask I will take only the equal bits we have in these IP networks. So how many bits are equal here? 8 plus 16 and plus these 5 bits. So how many bits are equal here? So we have 21 bits equal. So it will be like this, and it is like this, that the IP will be, the network will be this, the less one, and the subnet mask will be this 21. Now 21 means what? The subnet mask will be 255.255. Here we have 5 bits, so 5 bits means 248.0. Now what that means, that when the border router sends the information about all these networks, when it summarizes these all network, so it will send only this network. Instead of sending all these network one by one, all these networks, it will only send the information about this network to the other router, other neighbor router of other area. So what the other router knows, by this network with this subnet, the router which is in other area, it will identify that in this area we are having these different networks, not less than this, not more than this. It is exactly what I want to explain, I want to show to other area. Remember, this is class C. By default class C subnet is 24, but what I am sending here is 21. So when this router, suppose it is this area, our networks are from here, so when this router sends the information, routing table, to the other area, so it will send only one network. What is that network? The minimum network and the equal bit subnet mask. So with the help of that, this area will identify, or any area who get this information, they will understand that in this area we have all these other networks. And that is how it do the summarization. Now it will not do manually, it will not do automatically. That is what we have to do. We have to calculate on our own book, on our paper, and then we have to apply that in the router. That means we have to inform this router that for this area, this is the summary address, and the summary address what you calculate on your paper, like we have done it on our paper. So we have to configure the router to make this summarization, and if you don't do this, it will not do automatically. Now routers do automatic the summarization, but not for this. It do the summarization also. The auto summarization is also enabled, but not for this. Auto summarization is enabled for only when you have subnetted the network. Like for example, we have this router here, and which is connected to this other router, and we are doing the routing with them. Now for the LAN network, I have did the subnetting here, and I divided my network into 4 subnets, like subnet 0, subnet 1, subnet 2, and subnet 3. For example, it is the subnet of network 10. Now because the auto summary is enabled, so this router, when this router sends the information to other router that I have these networks connected, so what this router will say, it will not say that I have 4 subnets connected. It will directly say that I have the whole 10 networks. The whole 10 network is connected. I have the whole 10 network connected. So auto summary do what? It is enabled by default, and it can make sometime a problem. Now what is the problem it can make? For example, I divide this network 10 into 8 subnets. I apply 4 here, and the rest of the 4 I apply this side. Rest of the 4 I apply this side. Like after 3, network 4, subnet 4, subnet 5, subnet 6, and subnet 7 is here. Now what happened? This router will do auto summary and say I have the total 10 network here, and this router will also say that I also have the network 10, because it is also doing auto summary. So in this case, what, when this router sends that I know network 10 I have, this router says okay, I also know network 10. So they don't update the information. They will say okay, this is my connected network and this is my connected network. So when anyone sends the data from this subnet to any of these subnets, it will not go there. Why? Because when it goes to the router says okay, this network is mine, so it will not send anywhere else. It will send in this network itself. So in this case, what we have to do, we have to configure the router to disable the auto summary, then it will work. And only on RIP version 2, not in RIP version 1. The RIP version 1 don't support this classless routing with we have subnetting, because it does not send subnet mask with the network information. RIP version 2, IGRP, OSPF, these all routing protocols are classless routing protocols. So when they send the network information, they also send the subnet mask with it, so that other router knows that what are the networks here, either it is subnetting or not subnetting. But it will do auto summary only when we have divided single network into multiple subnets, when we have done the subnetting. But in this case, what we have done is, what we have here is totally different networks. These are not a single network, these are complete different networks. These are not subnetted networks. It is not like we have done subnetting and divided into 8 parts. It is not like that. They are different networks. So the auto summary will not work here. Then what we have to do? We have to do what? We have to configure, we have to calculate it manually here. We have to calculate that how many bits are equal here. Then we have to take the minimum network, and then for subnet mask we will use the equal bits. So for the network we will use this, the minimum network, and then we use the equal bits for it, and this will be our summarize at rest, and that we have to configure it on our router which is doing the summarization. Now this we have to configure on that border router which is sitting in between 2 areas. Other than that, we don't have to do anything. If you are having 4 networks in one area and if you are having 4 networks in other area, then still they know each other, and then still they can do communication. They can still get the routing table, they can still send the data. You don't have to do any extra configuration to connect between 2 different areas. That means if your router, for example, this is your router, and this one is connected to area 1, and the other interface of this router is connected to area 2, then you don't have to do any extra configuration here. To do what? To communicate between this area 1 and area 2. They can still communicate, they can send data from here to there. You don't have to do anything. They don't have to do any extra configurations. But you do divide these areas to do what? Summarization. So the router which is sitting in between these 2 areas, this router must do what? Route summarization. So on this router we have to configure the route summarization. That means we summarize this network, all the networks here from this area, and then we configure it here in this router that for area 1, this is my summarized address. That means when this router sends the network information to area 1, then it will use this summary address. And here we summarize all the addresses here, and then we configure this router that this summary address is for area 2. So when it sends the information to area 2, then it uses this summary address, so that it will reduce the routing table and make the routing easy and efficient. And this router which is sitting in between these 2 areas, it is called border router, area border router. Now in this CCNA level we don't do this multi-area routing. Actually this Cisco packet tracer does not have a command to configure this summarize address. I will show you the example. One more important thing is that in OSPF designing is very important. That means when you are designing the OSPF, when you are configuring the OSPF, you have to make sure that you design it properly. That means when you configure these 2 areas, you are making 2 areas, then you have to also think that what are the networks I have to apply in area 1 and what are the networks I have to apply on area 2, so that I can easily do the route summarization. So the networks what I used here in area 1, I have to make sure that it could be summarized into single area, a single network. Otherwise it can be a difficult. That means it can become a difficulty to summarize the network. Like for example, what network I used here is what? They are same. They are from same class C, and they have at least 16 bit is equal. So I can easily summarize this. But suppose I have these 8 networks, and then next network is I have what? I have 15.0.0.1, 0.0.0, then I have 16.0.0.0. Now in this case what happened? I will not able to do the summarization, because I can summarize when these networks are look equal, they have some common bits, but they are not. If these 2 networks are not having any common bits, only 8 bits are common, it is also not common, then it will become difficult to do the route summarization. So when you are designing OSPF, when you are configuring OSPF, so you have to design it properly, and you have to make sure that you are assigning the networks in a single area that can be easily summarized. Now if you want to see the practical of this, let's check. We created this design here where we have what? Router 1 and router 2. Router 2 is connected to area 1, router 1 is connected to area 0, and this is the router which is in between these 2 areas and which is connecting these 2 areas. Now this router 1 is connected to this router ABR is what with this 20 network, and with the 30 network it is connected to this area 2 router. Now when we configure OSPF here in this design, so what we do, in router 1 we configure this network 20 as area 0. Then in router 2 we configure this network 30 as area 1. Now when we configure this border router, so what we do, we configure this network 30 in area 1 so that it can do communication with this router 2 in area 1. They will create neighborship, they will exchange the routing table. Now when I configure network 20 in this router, I will configure it in area 0 so that it will do communication between this router 1 and exchange the routing table. So when we see this router 2 routing table, so what we see here is this network 30 is directly connected, network 20 it is coming from OSPF, and we can see it is O, and it is coming from IA, that IA means inter area OSPF, that means this information is coming from another area. Now same when you see on router 1, so what we see here is that 20 is connected and this network 30 is coming from OSPF and it is coming from another area, inter area. Now these are the other networks which we have in this area. These are the other networks. These are these networks I have decided, and I use this one because we have already calculated the summarized address for these networks. Now these all networks, I did what, I created this loopback interface. These are virtual interfaces, and on that virtual interfaces I configured these network IPs. One IP of this network on this interface, one IP of this network on this interface, and so on. I configured these different IPs of network into these virtual interfaces. So it is showing here that this network is directly connected to this loopback interface 1, loopback interface 0, loopback 1, loopback 2, 3. Now these are connected here, so it is showing into routing table. But when I am checking the routing table of router 2 here, it is not showing here. Those networks are not showing here. Why? Because I have not introduced those network into OSPF routing. Now I am going to introduce these networks into OSPF routing on this router 1. So how we'll do that? Just like we did introduce this network 20, we'll do introduce with this other networks also. For that I will go to config mode. Now here I will give command first router OSPF and the same process ID which I am using to configure this OSPF here previously, so that I will configure the same process. Now I want to introduce these all networks here. So how I will do that? I will do command network, then I will mention one network, then I will mention the wildcard bit, then area, and then whatever the area is. Now here the benefit of wildcard bit comes. This wildcard bit is not a burden, it is not like it is extra configurations you are doing in OSPF. It is actually a benefit, and it is actually advanced feature we have in OSPF which we don't have in RIP. And what that extra configuration is? So that extra configuration is like we can use this wildcard bit to assign a single interface network IP also. That means first benefit is what? The first benefit which I can use here is that instead of mentioning one by one these all 8 networks, I can run only one command to introduce all these 8 networks. That is the first benefit I have this which I get with this wildcard bit. Now how I can do that? Instead of mentioning all these 8 networks one by one, what I will do? I will do like this 0.0.255.255. Now what kind of wildcard bit is it is? If it is class C, then it should be reverse. It should be like this. If it is class C, then it should be like this. That means 255 will become 0. Then again 255 will 0, 0 and dot 255. It should be like this because it is class C. So in class C we have three parts as 255, so they will become 0, and last one will be 0, so it becomes 255. So for this network it must be, or it should be like this. Wildcard bit should be like this. But what wildcard bit I am using here with this is this. Now what that means? That means very simple. Wildcard bit indicates that how many bits of this network you have to check for enabling the OSPF. That means if you want to enable the OSPF, that means what happened when we introduce the network? Two things happens. First, the OSPF will enable on the interfaces of that network, and the network will be introduced in OSPF. So what I am saying here with this wildcard bit, so wildcard bit do what? It actually say that how many bits you have to verify, or you have to see to enable it. Like for example, when I say 0 here, that means what I am saying, that don't care about this first part. That means don't care whatever the number you have in this first bit, don't care it. It could be any. Oops. Okay, I'm making reverse actually. Now 0 means actually to verify, to see the bits. Actually 0 means what? To check the bits. So when I say 0, that means when I'm saying 0 here in the first part of wildcard bit, that means I am saying I want to verify that exactly you have to have 192 in the network part. Then when I say 0 again, then I am saying exactly you have to have 168 here. Then when I say 255, now 255 means it could be any. Don't check. Simple. 0 means check and 255 means no check. So I am giving 0.0, that means I am saying verify 192 and 168. 192.168. That means all the networks in this router which starts with this 192.168, I am talking about that networks. And this 255 means I don't care about these two parts. I am just wanted to verify only these two first part. I am saying 0.0. So 0.0 means I want to enable the routing for OSPF only for the network which is starting with 192.168. After that I am saying anything you can have. So when you see these all the networks have same 192.168. Apart from that is different. These two parts are different. So that is what I am saying here. Now actually I am introducing all the 8 networks with one command, and that is in area 0. That's it. I just introduced all these 8 commands with single command. So what I did, I said check only the first two parts, don't check the last two parts. That means only the first two parts must be in 192.168. Rest of the parts I don't care, whatever it is. Enable the routing on those networks and enable the OSPF on the interfaces of those networks. And with the help of this wildcard, we can also enable routing only on a specific interface. For example, let me give you the example of that so that you can understand the wildcard bit also. Now, for example, this is our router here, and the router has one interface for LAN network. Is having one interface for LAN network, and on this LAN network it is having IP of 10.1. That means network 10 is in this side. Now we have another interface here which is having the IP of 20.1.0.1. Now I did subnet it here, and there is another interface which is having IP of same 20, but it is subnetting 20.2.0.1. Now this is subnetting I have configured, so this one is different than this two. Then I have another interface which is having 192.3.0.1. I have one more interface which is having 20.4.0.1. Now I have subnetted this 20 network and I have assigned these multiple IPs. Now what I want to enable OSPF, and I just want to enable OSPF only on these two interfaces, these three interfaces, let's say this one, and this one. I don't want to enable it on these interfaces. Now what happens when you configure normal RIP? You will give command network and then you will mention directly the network, like network 10. Now when you mention the network 10, that means it will enable the routing for network 10, and it will enable routing on all the interfaces phase of network 10. That means we have only one here, so it will enable. But when you give command 20 in RIP, when you introduce network 20 here, when you say network 20, then what happen? It will introduce network 20 in the routing, and it will enable routing in all the interfaces of 20. Enable, that means it will start exchanging routing information to all the interfaces. Now all the interfaces, that means this interface, this interface, this interface, and this interface. But I don't want to enable on these two interfaces, but I cannot stop it. I cannot do anything because we are using RIP or IGRP. But here in OSPF I can do that. So in this case what I can do, instead of mentioning this whole network, I will mention it like this, like I will say 20.1.0.0, and I will give the wildcard bit like this. I will say 0, that means please check it always be 20. Then I will say 0, please check it always be 1 here. Then I don't care about anything. So it will enable only OSPF on this interface, not on these interfaces. Then I will give one more command for this interface, and then again I will use this subnet mask. Even you can use a single IP to verify also in this OSPF. You can directly mention the single IP. You can say like network 20.2.0.1. Just I want to like enable only on this interface, this particular interface, not on this, not on this, not on this. So I can give the particular direct IP, and for wildcard I will give 0 dot, that means check it is 20. Then I will say 0 again, that means check it must be 2. Then I will say 0 again, check must be 0. Then I will say 0 again, that means check must be 1. That means when I give 0.0.0, that means I am saying that check total IP, it must be exactly 20.2.0.1. So it will only enable routing on this particular interface, not on this, not on this, not on this. And that is what a benefit we have in this, which we don't have in normal RIP, not even in RIP version 1 or 2 on or even not in the IGRP. So and what I use here, I used to give what? I use wildcard bit here for what? For introducing all these 8 networks with one command. So okay, so it is introduced now. Now when you check the routing table here, show IP route, so we can see it is, the networks are still here because they are connected here, but it was not showing on the other router. Not showing on the other router, that means it was not showing on this router too. So on this router too it was not showing because that was not introduced. So if you check previous command, so it was not showing those networks. Now when I give show IP route, then you can see these all networks, and they are all coming from inter area. And now we don't have to do anything to communicate between these area 1 to area 0. But what is the problem here is that the routing table is big. It is getting 8 entries. So what we do, we actually do summarization to reduce these entries to make it only single entry. And for that we do it on router, the router which is sitting in between these two areas. So first we have to calculate it on paper. We have to calculate it on paper, which we have already done for these networks, and this is our summary address. Either we give it like this or we give it like this. Now we just have to do what? We have to configure it on our border router. So this is our border router. Now the problem is what? In packet tracer the command is not there. If I try, I go to this border router, I know the summary address, I will go to the configuration of OSPF. Then if I put question mark here, so what are the commands I have? I have a command for area. So let's see, area question mark, area ID. So let's say area ID for area 1, not for area 1, for area 0, because we are doing the summarization for area 0. And then when I give question mark, so I will have a configuration. Okay, I have a command here, and it is what? Command range. And this is what? Summarize routes matching addresses or mask to the border routers only, the routers which is on the border. So we are on the border router, so we will configure it like this. I will say range, and then what? I will give the IP address. The IP address we have already summarized, so this will be the lowest subnet. Then I have to mention the network mask, and the mask will be what? We have already calculated it, that 255.255.248.0, that is actually 21 bits. That means 8, 16 plus 5 bits is the common bits among all those networks. And then I will press enter. Okay, now it has been summarized. Now when you check the router 2, so on router 2, now when I run this show IP route command, so what I get here, I get this network 30 is already connected, 20 it is coming from the other side. Now this is the summary address, the summarized address. You can see it is showing this 21, and this is what? A summary address. So instead of having these all entries, all these different entries, what it is showing? It is only showing this single entry here. Now this single entries means what? All the 8 networks are there. We can verify by doing ping. Let me ping the first IP of that first network, 1.1. You see I'm getting the reply, that means it is there. Now I will try to ping the second network IP, and it is also replying. Let's check the last one, 7th. It is also getting reply. That means from network 0, 192.168.0 to 192.168.7, we got the reply. Now I will try to some other one, 8.1, and now I am not getting any reply, because this network is not available in other side, and our router don't know about it. It actually give you timeout. It is not giving you destination host unreachable, because that other network is not there. we have only these networks: 192.168.0, 192.168.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 192.168 7.0. We don't have 192.168 8.0 IP here, and that is what that summary address is indicating. So this is what root summarization is all about. It is only what to reduce the files, reduce the routing table. So instead of getting all the entries separately, we get the summarized entry from router, from the area 0, and what we mention it with this command in border router, the router which is sitting in between these two areas, and we mention it like area 0 range, and this is the summary address for area 0. Same as if you want to summarize this area, so all the networks from this area you will first calculate on your paper, get the summarized address, then go to the border router, and then you will configure it like this. You will say area 1 range and then the summary address of your area 1. So this is what the summarization and also the benefit of wildcard bit. So this is what we have, the extra features which we don't have in RIP or IGRP. We have root summarization, we have different areas to make it efficient routing, and also we have a benefit of wildcard bit.